So this is the ingredients that we use to make our sheet pan dinner. I am using a summer squash, a zucchini, red onion, a pepper. This right here is just a cucumber for the side. So we have some coldness going on here. These are the spices that I use, and I mix it with the oil. I am trying this broccoli stir fry packet today. I probably will only use half. And we've got some kielbasa. And yes, I will use all of this because I'm going to be getting 2 meals for 4 people. So 8 meals all together on the sheet pan so that we have some leftovers. And yeah, so that is what we've got for our ingredient list. Okay, I don't have a stand that I can put this on like here that directs this the right way. So anyway, I didn't show you the process, but I took that bag of stir fry broccoli, carrots, and snow peas, and I divided it up basically by taking out the large pieces of broccoli and cutting it down. So I've got all my little offcuts here. I just got to put these in the little bag here. I put all the broccoli in here because we weren't going to be using all of the broccoli, but I did want to use all of the carrots and snow peas. So I am going to use all of the carrots and snow peas that came in that stir fry bag and about half of the broccoli florets. I may use the offcuts as well in this roast because this is a good way to use up all the extra offcut stuff is in one of these, and I will save the broccoli, or most of the broccoli. I will put some in that bag there. This is the bag that I'm actually going to use to marinate my cut vegetables with for the day. And then I will put the broccoli in the freezer to use for another time. I'm thinking of maybe making some sort of broccoli chicken Alfredo or something later in the week. So that is going to go in my freezer, and that's how I can stretch that one bag of vegetables into a couple of different meals. And this right here, by buying it in this bag already done for me, I didn't need to buy a whole bag of baby carrots. I had some in the refrigerator already from a past sheet pan dinner that I had made, so I can just add the extras to this bag here. And I wanted to try snow peas with the with the sheet pan dinner, and I wanted to try broccoli with the sheet pan dinner, so I decided to get that stir fry thing so that I could kind of combine my cost into one. And so that's what I've done. And like I said, I went through and I cut off a lot of the larger stems and stuff from the pieces of broccoli that were inside of that packaging. That way I could cut down on some of the bulk that was going in my freezer, and then use the offcuts to go in the bake because I have all these other vegetables to go along with it as well. So that is my reasoning behind doing that, and there we go. I forgot to add into my picture initially the potatoes. I don't know how I forgot that, but that is like an integral part. So I'm going to be chopping up some potatoes to put into our marination bag. And this is what I've got so far. I've got the carrots and the peppers cut up. And I've got like the broccoli and the snow peas and the carrots in the bag. Like I said, I'm going to be doing up the potatoes now, and then I have to chop these up and get the oil and the spices in, and then it will start to marinate. Okay, so I have got this nice big bowl full of all of my cut vegetables. I know you saw me putting them into a bowl before, into a bag before, but that was going to be just so that I could, for marination. And now I've got my bag. I've got probably like a 1/4 cup of oil in here, because that's going to marinate all of those veg, okay? And then I put my spices in the bag, and you might think this is kind of strange that I closed up the bag and I rubbed the spices all over the edges, but that's because these vegetables are going right back into this bag. And I wanted to make sure that all the vegetables had at least a little bit of the oil coating on them. And there's no way for me to, I don't want to make a big mess. And this is just the way that I've done it. It was just convenient for me to do it this way. So that's what I'm doing. Basically now, because I've got them all cut up, I could now put them in the bag in a more mixed up manner, because they basically were stacked in there, the carrots and peas and the broccoli, and then the onions and the peppers, and then my potatoes, and then my squashes. And actually I've got those 2 squashes, the zucchini and the summer squash. I didn't use all of them, and I will use them at another time for another dish. So basically now I am going to add my vegetables into my bag and start the marination process. And right now it is about 9:20 in the morning, and I won't even be making this sheet pan dinner until probably like 5 or 6 o'clock tonight was when I'll start, thinking about throwing it into the oven. But at this point, basically most of my work is already done, and it's just going to be baking time, cutting up the sausages and putting them on top after I've gotten these vegetables already all done. And so basically my dinner is just about ready to go. All I have to do is cook it. So I'm going to get these vegetables back into the bag, and then we'll move on from there. So I'm just kind of showing you what I do is I take a little bit of the veg out and I'll put it in, and then I'll marinate, like I'll flip the bag around to get some of the seasoning and the oil on them. And then I'll go on to a couple of handfuls of the veg into the bag. So that's basically how I get it coated with all the tastiness and the spices. Talking about the baby carrots, I almost forgot to add the last little bit. See, I only had a little bit left in this bag, so I wanted to use them up, but I didn't want to buy another whole bag before I could use them up again. So that's why I decided to get that other bag, and we'll see how that works out, because the snow peas, I'm not sure how they're going to roast. I don't want them to get crispy little hard pucks, but maybe I do, because you know what? Some people like that crispy thing, so maybe we do. But I'm going to just dump these right here into my bag and let them help marinate. One-handed, this is so fun. All right, there we go. We got them in their bag, and that's now our full bag of vegetables, all mixed about. And we're going to let that sit and marinate for the full day today, and let everything get all tasty and delicious. And I'll be back tonight to show you what the sheet pan looks like after I get everything on the pan. All right, so every so often I come to the fridge and I see that I gotta flip my bag so that I can have them marinating. And as you can see, the oil is draining back down through the veg and getting all of these things really soaked in. So that's what I do with that. This is it's 1 o'clock in the afternoon now, and you guys saw me starting this at 9:10. I almost forgot to record this. Okay, so I've taken my sausage and I've cut it into about 1.5 or 2-inch pieces, and I've laid it all across my pan. And now I'm taking my vegetables that I've soaked all day long, and I am just spreading them over the top of my sausage, just so that it kind of covers up the sausage a smidge, so that it has something to, I don't know. Should be paying attention here, so that it can spread it out so that it can roast good. Now, I know people should spread it out a little bit further, but we kind of like the intense steaming. And this one right here, so this is posted Kielbasa, and we're doing also meatloaf patties on this pan with some roasted vegetables, just because kids like meatloaf, and that's one of Eric's favorites. So I have a roasted pan of meatloaf and veg, and Polska kielbasa and veg, and we're going to put this in the oven until the meat is cooked through and the largest potatoes on the pan are also soft. Okay, so I've got my oven on 400, and I put the meatloafs on the bottom tray, and I put the sausages on the middle tray, and I will pull the sausages out when those are done, and the meatloaf I'll probably pull up because those will take just a smidge longer to cook. Okay, so I have taken the meatloaf one out of the oven, and now I'm going to brush aside some of the vegetables, and I'm going to put ketchup on here and let it finish up on that. And then I'm going to take the other pan out and turn over some of the vegetables and see where we're at for doneness on some of them. Okay, so we have our steaming roast here, roast pan full of vegetables and sausages, and I have just gone ahead and used my tongs and kind of turned everything over a little bit here and kind of rearranged some of the vegetables and whatnot so that every bit gets a little bit of roasting on there. And we've got the ketchup on the meatloaf ones. So that is what we've got going back in the oven right now. And I'm going to turn my oven down from 400, reducing it back just a little bit. Be putting this pan on the top and this pan on the bottom just for a few more minutes because I think this one is almost done. And I just need to do a little bit more finishing on this one. So I'm putting this one on the bottom rack, and I'm going to put this one back on the top rack. And I had it at 400, and I think I'm going to turn it back to 375 just so that I can make sure it doesn't burn. Okay, so this is what we've got for dinner. We're going to have some cottage cheese, applesauce. We have fresh cucumbers from a farm stand down the road. We've got our Kielbasa sheet pan dinner. That's got broccoli, carrots, peppers, onions, snap peas, zucchini, and summer squash, as well as meatloaf. So people can have whatever they would prefer, whether it be meatloaf or sausage or a little bit of both. So that's what we have for dinner tonight. And there's our applesauce, of course. They can choose if they want to have this stuff on the side. If they like it, they can have it. If they don't want it, they can have as much of this as they like. And that's my sheet pan dinner meal. And I hope you enjoyed it.